What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com. I'm doing second looks of the original Planet of the Apes. Uh, Not an original, the remake trilogy. I don't know what to call this. This is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This film is directed by Matt Reeves. It stars Andy Serkis, some humans. It stars Andy Serkis. That's really all you need to know. All right, fine. We got like Gary Oldman and Kerry Russell, and there are some humans in here, and but it's got Andy Serkis as Caesar, so that's really all you really need to know. He gives you that warm fuzzy feeling as his performances are just incredible as Caesar. Um, yeah, so and Jason Clarke, I feel like I have to mention him because he's probably technically got the largest human role. So this is the sequel to Rise. I've seen these films before, and yes, I've seen them visually, so I know how stunning they look. Um, and I was rewatching this. It was my first time watching this with audio description. Shout out to Deluxe and Miles Neff for doing this. Rest in peace, Miles. Um, it was really refreshing to hear Miles on this. I was like, oh, Miles is on this. Cool. Look at that. I did not expect to hear Miles on a Planet of the Apes film, but I love Miles's narration. He always brought the best to all of his narrations. So he's a very expressive narrator. If you haven't had a chance to hear his narration for the Star Wars franchise, you absolutely should. Um, just a tremendous voice talent that sadly is not around anymore. So, but Dawn was something that he was able to do, obviously, before passing. So we have his voice still forever. This is why it's important to pass audio description around and down so that it can be had, is because some of these people can't ever re-record, and this is terrific audio description. Um, Obviously, this is a very visual film. Uh, Caesar and his group, Maurice and Koba, not the Oscar-winning film. Um, Caesar and Koba, and Blue Eyes and all the others are all just they've created a community. It's grown. It's feeling even more like they're adapting sort of our relatable creature comforts and relationships, and Koba can speak a little bit, um, and they're all just kind of setting off on their own adventure. Maurice mentions, how long it's been, and they haven't seen humans for 2 years, which seems kind of weird because they suddenly see a lot of humans. Um, like, surprise. Yeah, they run into some humans who need some help because they have been sort of living and trying to survive with what little they have. There's a little family, Jason Clarke, Kerry Russell, and their kids. Um, and also Gary Oldman and some like military people also are in this. And they want to restore power, but they need to work in the hydroelectric dam area, which is where sort of in Caesar's territory. So they have to come to kind of an understanding and a peace, and Caesar works this out, and Koba thinks that Caesar's being a traitor, so it develops this whole thing, and this one-time friendship turns into like a frenemy thing, and Koba suddenly thinks he knows better than Caesar, but of course nobody knows better than Caesar. Caesar knows the most, but there is this rivalry that plays out throughout the course of the film, and yeah, so that is uh, basically the non-spoilery plot of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So if you're thinking about seeing Kingdom, please watch the original trilogy because it's fantastic. I've now seen Kingdom, so I can say that the original trilogy is still the GOAT. Um, for me, Rise is still the best. I do think Dawn is a terrific film, though. It's just there's something about Rise. I think it's the Alzheimer's equivalent of it all, and John Lithgow's character. and seeing that whole situation play out alongside Caesar's growth, that really makes that film feel special in a completely different way. So than Dawn, which is in the middle of two sort of emotionally resonant films, two films that have a lot of deep resonance to them. Dawn is the film that connects the two of them, and does a good job of that. So I do think that for the most part, that's Dawn. I don't really have any problems with it. I can't think of any problems. I was trying to think of stuff, and I think the film is great. I think it's well audio described. Obviously, Miles, great job. The apes are using a lot of sign language still to communicate. Caesar talks the most of any of them, although Koba's completely able to talk, actually like vocalize. So, but he's just not as verbose as Caesar. So, the human performances are fine. But again, I don't think anybody really ever tops what John Lithgow did, playing an Alzheimer's patient who regains his memory and just finds the joy in that. And then also we see him like shrink back again. I think that performance was just tremendous. So I don't think there is like another human performance that matches it throughout the entire series. So what Jason Clarke and his family bring is fine, but they just don't have the same emotional resonance, impact or anything like that to this film. So I do like Dawn. I think it's a strong film, and I was happy to watch it again. So yep, that's my quick Dawn thoughts. Anyway, so make sure you check it out. I got the whole thing so I could have all three on the same. It's weird because like some of the films I talked about this in my Rise review, like people are lamenting the fact that like, yeah, the films are starting to pop up on different places, but then it's like not all three on the same service, all with audio description, which is kind of, so I just have all three on iTunes. Just it's so much easier. Just Apple had them all. Just they all had audio description, so bam, bam, bam. So I'm just moving through them. But I'm gonna give Dawn of the Planet of the Apes an A because this is one of my favorite franchises. It's consistent across the board. Matt Reeves brings a lot to the series, and what he was really great at was not missing a beat. I hate the fact that he gets all the credit for this when he didn't start the franchise. He did the sequels, but I will give him props for picking up on the vibe of Rise and not losing it, and not losing that energy, and understanding these characters and not making it feel like radically different, and not trying to go into like a completely different direction with it. So there's a lot about his direction that is worth praising. He just wasn't the first person to direct a really good Planet of the Apes film. That happened before him. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'm still gonna do War, even though I'm dropping Kingdom and Dawn in the same day. I'm doing films 2 and 4. I already did 1. It's weird. I get it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.